Welcome to the daily English news program on Azerbaycan Television. With you, your host, Rövşən Məmmədov, with the most important events of the day. On April 6, a video address by President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham, was presented at the headquarters of the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland, on the initiative of the Director General of the organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. The video address by the head of state and government of 4 countries was broadcast at the event. Let's watch the video address of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham.
I now welcome His Excellency President İlham Aliyev of Azerbaijan to reflect on his experience of the pandemic and what's critical to end the acute phase as quickly as possible.
Every year since 1950, we celebrate a World Health Day on April 7th. But 2021 is a year when the importance of health became even more significant. Having a modern, sustainable, high-quality healthcare system is a priority for every country. Healthcare in Azerbaijan is currently going through a significant change. With implementation of mandatory health insurance, Azerbaijan is strengthening the primary healthcare, renovating the emergency medical care services, facilitating the digitalization by starting e-health platform and national health accounts within the country. In the meantime, the second year of COVID-19 pandemic is continuing to put enormous pressure on healthcare system around the world. Azerbaijan was among the first countries to mobilize global efforts against COVID-19 pandemic. We initiated the summit of the Turkish Council in April 2020, the summit of the non-aligned movement in May 2020, and the special session of the United Nations General Assembly at the level of the heads of state and government in December 2020. Honoring its international responsibility, Azerbaijan has made voluntary contributions to the World Health Organization in the amount of $10 million. We have also provided direct humanitarian and financial assistance to more than 30 countries in their fight with the coronavirus. This year, World Health Day is dedicated to building a fairer and healthier world, and the question of equal and fair distribution of vaccines is of paramount importance for this cause. Yet, we all are deeply concerned by the unequal and unfair distribution of vaccines among developing and developed countries. Some countries hoard several times more vaccines compared to their actual needs. It is clear that in such circumstances, other countries will face vaccine shortage. Supporting fairness in vaccine distribution, Azerbaijan put forward a draft resolution ensuring equitable, affordable, timely and universal access for all countries to vaccines in response to the coronavirus disease pandemic at the UN Human Rights Council. The resolution was adopted by consensus on March 23rd this year. Azerbaijan was also among the first countries to join and support COVAX initiative. We and the whole international community expect this initiative to become a model of cooperation and solidarity in response to pandemic. Only together we will overcome the pandemic and will return to normal life. Happy World Health Day.
Thank you, President Aliyev, and I welcome your leadership on calling for equitable, affordable, timely, and universal access to vaccines at the UN Human Rights Council, and agree we must do more to ensure vaccines are fairly distributed.
President of Azerbaijan, İlham, signed a decree on the establishment of a Center for Technology Transfer and Commercialization under the Azerbaijani Intellectual Property Agency. The Cabinet of Ministers was instructed to establish the center within 15 days and provide information to the President of Azerbaijan. President İlham received Zaur Mikhailov in the video format in connection with his appointment as chairman of the Azerbaijan Melioration and Water Resources Open Joint Stock Company and gave instructions on an accurate analysis of the potential of all water resources in our country. The head of state said that the need to build reservoirs, especially in the liberated territories, should be considered. Deputy Minister of Ecology and Natural Resources, Vügar Karimov, says that automatic measuring devices will be installed in the liberated lands.
During the occupation of Karabakh, Azerbaijan was deprived of water resources of large rivers such as Terter Çay, Hekeri Çay, Lev Çay, Tutkun Çay, Haçın Çay, and others, which caused difficulties in irrigating crops, especially during the vegetation period. The great victory of our army also returned these rivers to us. It is reported that the volume of these water resources is 780 million cubic meters, which are 20 to 25% of our local water resources. We have large river resources in the liberated lands. We were deprived of them. Today our rivers originating in the liberated lands are our main rivers. The Terter Çay originates in the territory of Kelbecer district. But the contemptible enemy deprived us of the water of the Terter Çay. When I inquired about this problem during my repeated visits to the Karabakh region, I saw that it creates big problems. For example, the water of Terter was completely cut off. Terter Çay river was almost dry in many places. Now we have returned to the Terter Çay to its source. The Bazar Çay, which is also called the Berguşad River, the Hekeri River, the Okçu Çay, there are many rivers, more than 10 rivers originating there. Their potential must be analyzed, said President İlham Aliyev. Work has already begun in this direction. Since information about water resources in our once occupied lands is not available, the first thing to do is to install automatic measuring devices in those basins. The abundance of river resources in our liberated territories creates conditions for the construction of new reservoirs in these water basins.
Azad edilmiş torpaqlarda su ambarlarının.
We should also examine whether there is a need to build reservoirs in the liberated lands. Of course, our largest source of water in the liberated lands is Xudaferin and Qızğalası reservoirs on the border with neighboring Iran. These are very large reservoirs. The volume of the Xudaferin reservoir is 1.6 billion cubic meters. It is a very large reservoir. In order to use this reservoir, of course, additional infrastructure projects must be implemented. First of all, canals must be built so that we can take water from these reservoirs to the liberated lands, Zengilan, Cəbrayıl, Qubadlı, and other districts, and use it effectively. This has great potential, said President İlham Aliyev. Karabakh is also rich in groundwater due to the widespread distribution of cracked volcanic rocks. In the future, they will be used for the drinking water and rivers for irrigation. These factors will accelerate the process of environmental recovery in Karabakh.
In accordance with the plan approved by the President, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces İlham Aliyev, joint tactical special exercises of the signal troops with the participation of Azerbaijani and Turkish servicemen began. During the exercises, military signalmen deployed to the areas for fulfilling training combat tasks are working out tasks for organizing a unified communication system. The tasks on organizing the interoperability of troops, deploying field command posts and other actions are fulfilled in the course of the exercises, conducted with the use of modern communications and automated control systems, Azerbaijan's Defense Ministry reported. Activities on the comprehensive engineering support for units of the Azerbaijan Army stationed in the territories liberated from the occupation are being continued. Engineer sapper units of the Azerbaijan Army are carrying out work on clearance of the territories of mines and exploded ordnance. Demining and restoration of roads are underway to ensure the safe movement of military vehicle convoys. Work is being carried out to lay new roads in the directions of the positions of our units deployed in the mountainous terrain. A large number of mines and exploded ordnance have been disposed of until today. Activities on the detection and defusing of mines and unexploded ordnance in liberated territories are being continued. Permanent representatives of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation Contact Group on Armenia's aggression against Azerbaijan visited Aghdam city, liberated from the occupation. Acquaintance with the permanent representatives of the contact group Zagdam began with the destroyed building of the city bus station, which, as they were informed, was blown up by Armenians long before the occupation of Agdam. From there, diplomats went to the district center, where they performed namaz in Juma Mosque. They also visited the Imarat complex and the Alley of Marchers. The delegation witnessed destruction in various locations of the city and observed the ruins of the drama theater and other buildings. Expressing their remorse in regards to the devastation, the permanent representatives condemned the destruction of cemeteries and called it an inhuman act. Rizwan Said Sheikh, ambassador of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, said that the war is over, the victory is won. Azerbaijan returned its lands. I congratulate my brothers. We saw what this place has become during the occupation. After that, economic rehabilitation needs to be achieved. And this, showing solidarity, we will do together. Agdam will be restored, revived. Mehmet Metin Aker, ambassador of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, conveyed that during the occupation, not a single building remained intact. Temples are in ruins. The goal of the Armenian occupation was to destroy human life, to destroy such a beautiful city. The view is very disheartening, said Ahmed Kaveh Sanyendo, representative of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation. A similar barbarism was committed by a human with whom we share the same world. We are very remorseful. From the very beginning, the position of the OIC was clear. We have always considered the position of Azerbaijan to be just. We seize the liberated territories, and we call on the OIC member countries to help restore these lands. OIC will provide its support. It should be noted that the contact group was established in 2016 as part of the Istanbul summit. The group includes 7 countries: Turkey, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Malaysia, Gambia, and Djibouti. From Agdam, representatives of OIC went to the city of Gence. For the first time in Baku, an investment agreement, power purchase agreement and transmission connection agreement were signed on 230 megawatt solar power plant between the Ministry of Energy, Azar Energy Open Joint Stock Company and Mastar of the United Arab Emirates. The new industrial project, which will be implemented in Baku and Absheron district, is part of the concept of green space and reforms in the energy sector in our country and is worth $200 million. In a statement to journalists, Minister of Energy Perviz Shahbazov said that a green concept is being prepared in the liberated territories. 2,035 infections with novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 1,174 people arrived after treatment and were released home. 32 people who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 273,869, with 243,467 recoveries and 3,743 deaths. The number of active infections is 26,659. To detect new infection cases over the past day, 12,701, and overall 2,948,419 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.